Good evening. So I finally took the long awaited bath. It was difficult, but I was able to wash my hair, and so it's like a relief that after 5 days, my itchiness, my scalp issue, but um, uh, I cannot feel this. It's numb. I cannot. It's still clean, so I'll show you how I'm gonna like clean this tomorrow. Uh, yeah, it's really like feeling like I wonder how my neck would look like without my thyroid. Because I feel like I did have a wide neck because of the inflammation. Sorry if I pause. Sometimes it's talking sometimes irritates the throat, so I can't really, talk loudly. Maybe I'm gonna do an ASMR when I'm talking, so the tube is still here. I don't mind this. I mind this. This is called the Jackson brand drainage. It goes all the way here. Here's the tube. And then here. So it collects water, blood, all the liquid coming from the surgery site. So it's placed because when they close you up, it's like when you're opening a fruit and then the fruit still has like liquid in it, and then it sometimes is still juicy. So there's no source, like there's no outlet rather that the liquid can go out into, because of course your thyroid is gone already. So there's no outlet, so they need to create an outlet for a while until there's no more liquid or blood coming out, and hopefully yeah, there's pain. uh it's bearable though, but it's like you want to pull it. It's itchy and there's pain, like a wound healing. And the first 3 days is okay because it's like there's pain medication and it's an injectable, but my hand is still swollen. If you can see from the IV, it's still like I can barely move it, especially the pinky. It's really it's swollen, like it's broken or something. I could barely yeah. So I drank my medications already and fall asleep, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do some laboratory. I want to rip it off, but I know I can't do that. So I'm gonna put some ointment and medication that will lessen the keloid or the scar, because I'm a keloid pharmacy. So there was like a lipoma taken, but I had this in therapy, so I do some injections for this one. Anyhow, yeah, it's gonna be alright. The purpose of this surgery is not to harm me more, but it's to take out the harm and hopefully make me live a better life. Because when you have Graves' disease, you know, your hyperthyroidism, I noticed a change in my whole being. Like, I'm calmer. Like, there's a certain calm in me that it was different. Like, before, I would just get irritated immediately. Like, it wasn't, it was more like induced by all the hormone imbalance. And you know, it's because I get irritated with the weather if it's too hot, and you know, my irritation level is just, and yeah, basically I'll make videos for my recovery and transformation, because I did develop like moon phase, and I'm gonna show you how it is, and you know, if I'm going to drop weight and what's my treatment, my therapy, my exercises, what I'll be doing, and I'll be showing you. And so, because the stigma is that if you have such disease, you would just gain weight or something like that. But there are a lot of therapy that you can do, which I'll be doing, and I'll show you that it's possible, and you don't have to feel bad about having surgery, and that the surgery is actually better. But it's also all about the management, like what you can do to feel good, to be good. Like, in my age, I'm already 45. So with regard to like fertility issues, I don't really dwell so much on that, so that I would not feel bad about myself. I do have PCOS, but with regard to my gynecologist, she said with, you know, intervention and therapy, that I could still have a child. But at this age, it's like I feel like, you know, I don't have a partner and I'm not married, so I don't discuss that much part in, you know, with regard to my sickness, because it's a topic that I don't, or you know, I cannot correlate with, because again, you know, I don't have a partner with regard to fertility issues. And then with regard to egg saving and all these things really are costly in the Philippines. And so I'm not gonna dive into that, because I'm not doing those things. So I'm just gonna show you like how it is at 40 to feel better. Even if you have the sickness, you don't really have to feel bad about it. I'll be having like a lifetime of medication with my calcium, you know, all these the thyroid medicines that my endocrinologist would be prescribing. I won't say the medication so that you will not also self-medicate when you're watching my videos. I really refer you to go to your endocrinologist, because sometimes my management may be good for me but not good for you. So it depends. Like, we have a different level of, prior to surgery, we have different levels of TSH, T4, and T3, and the medication would vary. Okay, there are a lot of dosages that the doctors can give you, and they know better and how to prescribe for your medication and how to advise you with regard to whatever you're feeling and all these issues that you have. Like for me, what I just want to manage is my weight, because I do have a cardiac issue as well. I do have a preventricular contraction, which gives me a skip beat, and I can't gain weight. If I do gain weight, like, I would have difficulty breathing. So my weight needs to be like around 55 to 60 kilos at least, and if not, at least 60, 65. That's manageable. But right now I'm 81 kilos. The thing is, I was 77, and in a month, like, it went up to 81 kilos because I was already hypothyroid. It was because of some, the medication, what needs to be done with regard to having a good TSH level before operation is very important with prior to surgery. So those things matter. And my TSH level was like a -5, something like that. So it went up. So I did lose weight fast, but what's bad about it, yeah, you'll feel good because you lost weight, but there are consequences. Like, my eyes will be bulging, and my eyes will be a bit red than usual, and I'm irritant, and there's just so many things that it's it's better off. Like, yeah, you would lose weight, but not totally. You sometimes your body would just shut down, and you don't want to do anything, or a little thing would just irritate you. That's why when I was sick, I also didn't surround myself with people, because sometimes they might misjudge you of having a personality when you really don't. Sometimes your personality would depend sometimes on what sickness you have, and it's not really you, it's just the sickness that you have. So it's better that there's less people around you, and I'm not one who wants to be surrounded with people when I'm sick, so I'd rather be alone. So it's a funny thing is, when I was in the hospital, I was sitting, it's just trying to, my back was aching, so I was trying to stand up and learn to, like, stand up with my neck like this. So I was sitting around, and the nurse noticed me, and she was like, "Do you have anybody?" Like, somebody here with you? Because in the Philippines, it's usual that a patient has a watcher. Somebody's there, but my dad is there. My dad, I couldn't ask for more from my dad. He's 86 years old, but he was my primary caregiver. Well, I was having surgery and all these things, and even now, he's the one cooking and trying to, even if I want to clean up, he would say, no, he'd be the one doing it. So, my dad is really very helpful, and, well, he's gonna have like a vacation soon. So I'm glad that he will. And I'll be back in my usual self. I'll be doing some training and upskills. I'm going to upskill with regard to my training, because it's been a while. Sometimes when you're not working, and sometimes the world revolves so fast that you feel like, oh, you've lost touch with what you know already. So it's just something to, to keep me upbeat and be in the zone again, because it's there's issues that's, you have to be aware with regard to current events, current health trends, uh, with current health management. It's very important. I mean, I'm in the field of medicine, so I need to be updated with regard to that. And I'm into public health, so I want to know like what's going on because I've secluded myself for quite some time because of what I had, and there was difficulty in, I'm just, as I've said, I was making rosaries and doing my stuff, and there was difficulty in working, like, having, I was supposed to work like a night shift in the BPO industry, just, while I'm caring for myself, and it's good for, for what you call this, for saving up. But unfortunately, it's like I would fail in the health department because, of course, they would know like in my laboratory would be abnormal. So it wasn't giving me uh, a good scenario, something like that. So it was uh, it was more stressful to, to tell people that I'm really okay, but you have to explain to them all these things, so they better like would say that, well, don't you want to have that managed first? So that's why I okay, that itch is there. I'm gonna get water, but anyway, so I chose to, just take care of my dad, be his caregiver, like for quite some time, because he's already 86. But it reached to a point where I said, like, I need to go back to work also, normalize my life. And the only way to do that was really to choose therapy for this. Now, if you would say RF, like radio frequency ablation, RFA, it wasn't an option for me because um, I had multiple nodules, so there were a lot of growth already. It wasn't just one growth, it was multiple, like a lot, like more than 6 in both sides. So the doctor did try to, I'm playing with my neck. Yeah, it's really hard to talk when it's like the edge is there. Anyway, so RFA wasn't an option for me. Plus, it's more costly for that. Like it would like reach 500,000 peso, or more than, or 1 million peso, because it's gonna be the therapy for RFA is per nodule. So if you have like 10, and one nodule would be costing like more or less 50,000. Imagine that. So it's just, and like for sure, just take it out. But again, if you have the means and capacity and you still want to try that before the actual surgery, then that's also a choice for you. It's a choice that you can make for yourself, but there's no guarantee that it will not come back, because grave disease is autoimmune. So it means it's gonna come back, and it's not gonna stop until, it's just it takes over your thyroid. So anyhow, it's about it. So I do have a lot of plans I want to share with you guys, my journey, with regard to, 5 years ago I lost my mom, and it was the most difficult situation that I had experienced, because I wasn't expecting that, and I was expecting my mom to be in my graduation. I did graduate in medicine. Unfortunately, I was not able to practice due to um, um, issues that I need to care at home. So most of my family members need to do something, and I was tasked to do something, and I had to do it. So it's like, family's the priority, and I didn't want to leave my dad alone, so I chose that part. And I've always believed that, if God intends you to go back to a path that He wants you to be in, He will bring you to that path no matter what. Because I tell you guys, I have been out from the medical path for a long time. I was out for 7 to 8 years. I didn't know that I was still going to go back and study medicine after those years, but He brought me back, and somehow, amidst the challenges that I have with regard to financial situations, um, with regard to failing some subjects, like sometimes you're just, maybe it's not, but then, there's always like somebody pushing me, like, no, is that's just part of the challenge. And I was really able to graduate medicine, knowing that I was able to pass all the subjects, even if I did have subjects that I failed. But I'm not ashamed of that, because I learned more and I understood more because of my failures, and where I was, where I had weaknesses and where I had strengths. And because of that, I know where I want to pursue more in the field of medicine. So there you go. I'm good with I'm good with psychiatry. I'm good with surgery. Because there are different fields. I'm good in internal medicine and all these things. So I know, life's a challenge, and you have to, grab the challenge and not give up on it. Because when growing old, I've realized that what's actually important is, the journey is actually important. It's very important. Every step you take is a lesson learned, and every choice you make is, affects you, or doesn't affect you at all. All my relationships, I wouldn't say that, oh, I failed them. It's more of, it wasn't, it's not about, it wasn't meant to be or something like that. It wasn't a situation where I couldn't be in. It wasn't fair for them, it wasn't fair for me. So sometimes you have to let go of relationships, not just for you, but for your partner as well. Sometimes, like, for instance, I had a relationship where the last one, when we belong in different races and different culture, and the difficulty there is some cultures are more accepting and some cultures are not. And it's not just about culture, and it's also about people. Some people are more accepting for you to be in their culture, some people don't want you to be in their culture. Unfortunately, I got stuck in a relationship where I was like an outcast. So even if I would force myself into their family, I don't think it would, later on, it would be a good situation, most especially for me. I believe that I'll be walking on eggshells if I pursue that. And sometimes, guys, you would realize how much a person really loves you if you would talk to them, and you would understand, like, present them situations and they're not interested. So if they're not interested in situations that you want to be in, then you'd realize that they're not really that interested in you. And so even if it was hard, not letting go, but for me it was the right decision, because I realized, like, this guy is never gonna be, never gonna be uh, accepting me to be a final part in their family, something like that. I would just always be like, a stopover, but not the real thing, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he can talk with me, he can, chat with me, but he'd never you I would never be the person that he would want to bring inside the church. And yes, it is sad, but for me, it was like, it was a rude awakening, but it was better to say goodbye early on, knowing that there was never going to be a finality when it came to that choice. And when we broke up, how I was treated, it was like, was really bad. Even if I was the one who initiated the breakup, I ended up was I didn't understand why I ended up being the one told that, oh, anyway, we're not meant for each other. So you would realize that he wasn't really thinking about you as an end game. So this is a lesson for girls, don't just don't just look like one way when it comes to relationship. Always know where you stand, and if a guy is staying, and if you plan to have a family with the person, make sure that the guy stays, because we've been living in a world where there are a lot of children who are just, single parents. It's like it's being normalized, and I don't believe in that. As a Catholic, I rather, you have, if you don't really have, what you call this, get married immediately or something. You you navigate your relationships before you get married and all these things, because it will affect your children. And kids do deserve better. Kids deserve a mom and a dad. So it's a responsibility for women and men. And it's the difficulty, like, of the women. If the guy leaves, the guy can leave. So the responsibility is mostly for women. Although there are countries that really support women, have money, but emotional support is really different, guys. If there's like a mentoring towards children. So health promotion, all these things, I don't mind being called, like, um a single lady at her age, blah blah blah. I don't mind that at all, because it's what I chose. Like, I don't want to have children if I don't have a partner. I owe it to the kids. I would rather adopt. That's an option that I have. I would rather adopt kids and have kid on my own, and just, have that cycle. I would rather support children who need support already than bring more chaos or something like that. I'm already coughing. It's like, if you're blessed with a relationship, you're blessed with it. If you're not, you're not. That's it. So anyhow, this journey, I thought this is gonna be like an amazing year. We were planning to go to Jerusalem, and you know what's happening now, guys, in Jerusalem, right? And with Israel and Iran. So my dad and me are like, weren't we planning to do something, and so my dad's like, I guess it's a change in vacation, and when I'm better. And I'm like, yeah, before going back to working and training and all the examinations, we were supposed to relax, be touristy for a while, because we haven't had any vacations due to my sickness. And unfortunately, war happened. So we're like, where to now? In Europe? Europe tour, a Japan tour, just here in Asia. And we decided instead, okay, let's just feel these, because it's gonna be like a 1 month of recovery. So after, like, let's just feel the emotions first. Let's not go decide and buy ticket, and then in the war would be like kaboom. Would be bloated. So let's feel the emotions first and decide later on where we would be celebrating our touristy activities. If it's just gonna be here in Asia, or we're gonna pursue the Schengen visa and go to Europe. It, who knows? But right now, with all the chaos that's going on, I don't think we can decide right now. Anyhow, it's an adventure that me and my dad hope that we can do before I do my training, because once I also go back to training or do additional schooling, he would be staying with the family, and I would be somewhere else. So it would be like he would just be visiting me from time to time, so I won't be seeing him. Like right now, I'm seeing him every day, so I'm gonna miss him too, because I'm used to seeing my dad, and it's just, and me and my dad and the dogs. And we might buy something new for this year. So I'm gonna show it to you guys. Plan something new, buy something new. I'm excited, but right now the important part is the recovery part. Anyhow, so if you are sick right now, I'm praying for you. If you are experiencing life's challenges right now, I'm praying for you. Let's pray together. Don't lose hope. Always pick up your Bible and read a verse from it. Always believe in a positive side. Even sometimes when you feel like, it's just like bad luck after bad luck. Sometimes you just have to breathe in and breathe out and say, tomorrow's gonna be a better one. And if you're bullied or something like that, learn to navigate the situation also, that not to be pushed in by people. We should also learn to pick up ourselves and bring ourselves higher, or equal to others, and say, you don't deserve that, and you deserve to defend yourselves if you're bullied. And what else? Don't forget to tell your moms that you love them. If your mom is there, tell your moms that you love her, and to thank her for, if she's cooking for you, she's doing your laundry, she's doing anything to make your lives easier. Always thank your parents, and be happy if you're a complete family, because not everybody is gifted with that. And if you're a mom and a dad, be responsible parents, because if you have kids already, then they're not options, okay? They're beings that need to be cared for, and they are now your responsibilities. Ouch. So it's almost an hour. My hair is already almost dry. I'm gonna be sleeping now. Good night, guys, and take care. God bless. Till our next conversation.